He did it, guys, against all odds, against all courts, against the media, against the entire globalist machine. Donald J. Trump, he just scored three massive trade victories that have completely obliterated the sabotage, the entire effort that was launched by a panel of unelected judges, guys. Now, if you thought the courts crossed the line by trying to essentially gut Trump's America First tariffs, wait until you see how Trump responded to these guys. Not with a retreat, but with a world-shaking counterattack that's already flipping foreign economies and humiliating his enemies right here at home. These are not just trade deals, folks. These are economic warheads. And the way they landed, quietly, strategically, and perfectly timed to essentially make the globalist judiciary's ruling look like a complete joke. Trump's team just played 4D chess on these guys, and the swamp has no idea what's coming next. In fact, in just a second, I want to reveal which 3 countries just surrendered to Trump's economic pressure, what they just gave up, and more importantly, why this particular move now makes the court ruling practically meaningless. But first, we need to break down how this judicial overreach even started. I want to show you guys who's really behind this and why President Trump's ability to bypass it is not just a win. This is a massive red flag to every globalist judge that's trying to override the will of the American people. Now stick with me, guys, because once I unpack these 3 trade deals, I want to also share with you guys, I want to completely expose the next battle that Trump is preparing to fight, because guys, this could reshape the global power permanently. If you appreciate the daily news updates, do your boy a favor and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Totally appreciate you guys. Seriously. All right. So how did all this start? Well, it started with a stab in the back. Unfortunately, late one night, while most Americans were sleeping, the U.S. Court of International Trade launched an attack not just on President Trump, but on the very idea of executive authority in America. That court, made up of like 9 unelected judges, declared Trump's Liberation Day tariffs unconstitutional, essentially citing that the 1977 National Emergency Economic Powers Act, or NEPA. Now, just think about that for a second, right? These tariffs, they were a part of Trump's broader strategy to defend America's economy, to revive domestic manufacturing, and to stop foreign exploitation cold. Americans knew that before they voted for Trump. But the globalist bench warmers in black robes, they claimed that he had no right to act during what they didn't consider a real emergency. I thought it was a pretty severe emergency. Anyway, never mind that fentanyl is pouring into the United States, factories are dying, and foreign governments were taxing the hell out of U.S. goods. The same courts that let illegal immigrants walk free, they're all of a sudden pretending that they suddenly care about national law. Give me a break. And this isn't even just about the tariffs, folks. This is about control. These judges are acting like the Constitution gives them a veto pen over the will of the people, over the president. They don't answer to the voters. We don't vote for them. They don't face elections. And yet they just tried to erase one of Trump's biggest America First victories with a stroke of a pen. But why now, right? Why, after 60 years of presidents using tariff powers, from Nixon to Ronald Reagan to Barack Obama, why is it all of a sudden only a problem when Donald J. Trump does it? I think you guys know the answer to this, right? Because Trump isn't one of them. He's not controlled, and that terrifies them. So here's the twist, and it's a big one. While they were celebrating their little ruling, Trump had already lined up 3 strategic knockouts that just flipped the whole chessboard. So do not go anywhere, guys. I want to show you exactly what Kevin Hassett revealed about those 3 trade deals that were essentially locked, loaded, and just waiting for Trump's signature. And you're going to see how these deals are not only shattering the globalist narrative, but they also sent a very clear message to every country trying to play games with America. So stick with me, guys, because President Trump's counterattack is just getting started. Now, trying to pick a Medicare plan feels like throwing darts blindfolded. Why guess? Why guess? When Chapter already knows the way. I mean, take Leslie Taylor, for example. She called and she saved $1,000 a year. Sharon Butusik, she lost her Medicaid coverage entirely. But Chapter Save Today, they helped her get on a plan with $0 premiums, zero med costs, and copays that dropped from $89 to $20. Guys, they compare every plan available. No shortcuts, just answers. And their service is totally free. I love it. Give our friends a Chapter a call right now at 909-563-8279, or you can hit them up on the web. It's probably easier and faster at askchapter.org/Ron. Stop guessing, start winning like Trump. So while the activist judges were busy trying to dismantle Trump's trade authority, Trump was already 10 steps ahead. Kevin Hassett, Trump's former economic council director, he went on air and dropped a major bomb. 3 trade deals, basically done. Just waiting for President Trump's final decision. You heard that right, guys. 3 massive trade deals negotiated behind closed doors with foreign governments already agreeing to drop tariffs, open their markets, and even give American producers a real shot again. That's a win. That is a massive win. Kevin Hassett didn't name the countries outright, but the hints are all there. Guys, we're talking the United Kingdom, who's already on a fast track to sealing a major bilateral trade pact. We're talking India, who's been under extreme pressure to essentially lower tariffs and open up to American tech, pharma, and agriculture, and a third country, possibly Vietnam, Taiwan, maybe even a strategic Latin America ally that jumped on board before the courts could stop the momentum. Here's where it gets even better, though. These nations didn't cave because of kindness. They folded because Trump turned up the heat. According to Kevin Hassett, Trump laid down the law: 50% tariffs, immediate penalties, reciprocal taxes if they don't play fair. What happened next? Well, of course, the EU begged for meetings. India started shifting positions, and allies started scrambling to strike a deal before the court chaos could derail everything. Guys, that's the art of the deal. That's what winning looks like. Now, remember, these deals, they weren't just symbolic. They were strategically timed to hit just as the court tried to cut Trump off at the knees. Guys, so instead of weakening his hand, the ruling became irrelevant. Let that sink in. Trump didn't even need the court's approval to win. He just used their own arrogance as fuel and flipped the script. And in just a minute, I'm going to show you how this completely neutralized the court's decision, proving that Trump doesn't just survive the attacks, he dominates through them. So also, I want to share with you guys how these 3 deals made the judge's ruling completely worthless and the massive economic impact that it's already triggering right here at home. Because the media, they're not going to show you this. So here's where the story flips entirely. While the Court of International Trade was busy declaring Trump's tariffs unconstitutional, President Trump was already locking in real world results. Guys, we're talking completely sidestepping their obstruction. You see, the goal of the court and their ruling wasn't just legal, it was political. They wanted to kneecap Trump's momentum. They wanted to paint his America First policies as extreme, and also they wanted to stall negotiations dead in their tracks. But instead of folding Trump, he made a very strategic move that essentially shut them down without even acknowledging their power. He bypassed their ruling altogether using direct diplomacy. No waiting, no permission, no compromise. Guess what? I think the results speak for themselves. The moment these trade deals moved forward, tariffs dropped, markets opened, and America's large, essentially global leverage on the world stage didn't shrink, it grew. Because here's the truth. Foreign governments don't care what unelected U.S. judges say. They care what President Trump is going to do if they don't comply. And he made it crystal clear. With or without tariff powers, there will be consequences. That's what these deals weren't just about. They weren't just about trade. They were a massive public rejection of the court's interference. They essentially rendered the ruling useless. And the ripple effects? Well, U.S. manufacturing surging. Hundreds of millions in new trade value is being unlocked every single day. Companies are preparing to bring jobs back. And countries that once laughed at us, they're now lining up to negotiate before Trump drops the next hammer. And here's the part that'll probably make the swamp squirm. This win doesn't go away. The courts tried to freeze him, and instead, Trump delivered real results to prove his America First strategy doesn't need their blessing. But hold on, because the next thing I want to share with you, I want to share with you guys in fact, I want to show you how the media and the Democrats, they're now scrambling behind the scenes, completely blindsided by this outcome. And while Trump's essentially 3-deal checkmate might just set the tone for the rest of 2025 and even beyond that. So don't go anywhere, guys, because the panic reaction from the left is coming. So now that President Trump essentially landed the trade deals, they've completely undercut the court's interference, you would think that the media and Democrats would admit that they were wrong, right? Well, of course not. Instead, they're scrambling. CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, they're counting on that court ruling to derail Trump's economic momentum. They want headlines like Trump tariffs blocked, global markets cheer court victory, Trump's agenda collapses. But what did they get instead? Crickets. They got 3 new trade deals signed under Trump's terms without their permission, without their blessing, and without their control. So the left didn't see this coming, and that's why they're panicking. You remember when Kevin Hassett, you remember what Kevin Hassett said on live TV? Trump always wins. That's what he said. I don't think that was a catchphrase, though. I think it was a warning. I mean, heck, even, Trump even has the hat that says Trump always wins. And now that hat's aging better than ever, every single article ever written by the Washington Post. I think that this entire sequence here, from the court sabotage to the Trump trade triumphs, it just proved one thing beyond a shadow of a doubt. Trump is still the most powerful political force on earth, and the public knows it. The numbers are already shifting. Polls are moving. The confidence is rising. Businesses are investing again, and even America's allies are back at the table. They're begging to stay on his good side. Because when Trump wins trade wars without firing a single shot, he wins the narrative, the leverage, and the people. And just wait, because I want to break down exactly how these 3 deals just set the tone for 2025 and beyond, and why this momentum terrifies the globalist elite, and what President Trump's next move might be as he eyes the total dismantling of the swamp in his second term. Guys, stick with me, because this final blow, I don't think anybody really saw this coming. So, and for those of you guys just now joining the live, thank you for being here. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for subscribing and sharing this video. Here's what this all means moving forward. These 3 trade deals are not just about economics. They're a message. They're a signal, a preview of what's coming if President Trump retakes full command in 2025. Despite the judges, despite the media, despite the noise, he just proved again that when it comes to negotiating for America, he doesn't wait for permission. And folks, this is only the beginning. Behind the scenes, Department of Government Efficiency, you guys heard it, they call it Doge. They're already mapping out hundreds of billions of dollars in waste to be slashed with or without Congress. Artificial intelligence, Trump's economic team saying that it's triggering a new productivity wave, with AI potentially adding 1 to 1.5% growth to GDP per year. That's not speculation. That is obviously acceleration. And the tax issue? If Congress doesn't act, Trump's tax cuts will expire, unleashing the biggest tax hike in U.S. history. Kevin Hassett already warned, if that happens, we don't just get deficits, we get a recession. But if the big beautiful bill passes, Trump locks in no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, and a massive capital investment boom fueled by clarity and confidence. That's what's at stake. So here's the final takeaway here, guys. The courts tried to stop him. The media tried to mock him. The globalists tried to box him in. But it didn't go away. He did it anyway. 3 trade deals, a shattered judicial agenda, and the strongest proof yet that Trump always wins wasn't a slogan, it was a spoiler alert. Now, if you're tired of seeing unelected judges and globalist elites try to sabotage American leadership, I want you to share this video right now. comment down below, Trump always wins, if you're ready for part 2 of the America First movement. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because the next battle, it's already begun. And you better believe we're going to cover every step of that. So appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for subscribing as always. Stay ready, stay safe, stay free. See you guys on the next one. Take care.